Hola, this is Alex. Welcome back to my channel. It's a long time since I saw you. It's been 3 or 4 months, and today is a really big day. So today is the first anniversary of my Wegovy journey. I started on Wegovy the 29th of July 2025, and today is the 29th of July 2026, so it's been a whole year. I'll start off by giving you the numbers. So this time last year I weighed in at 19 stone 5, which was 271 pounds or 123 kilograms. This morning I was a little bit less yesterday, which is a bit frustrating, but this morning I weighed exactly 14 stone. So that means I have lost 5 stone 5 pounds or 75 pounds or 34 kilograms. So that's what I've done in a year. And I worked it out the other day that I think it works out to be just about 28% of my body weight. And the average is about 15%. So even though to me it doesn't feel like I've lost enough in some ways, 28% is just incredible, and I'm absolutely thrilled. So what I've done this morning, just now actually, I sat and I watched my very first video. And I thought I was watching it to see what I looked like, because you do forget, well, not that you forget what you look like, you didn't realize what you looked like at the time. I remember doing a 3-month, I think it was, a 3-month video, and you can see the weight loss in that, but actually where I was after 3 months was closer to where I thought I was at the start. So because you're not able to judge. Anyway, so this is why I thought I was watching this video. But it was like watching a completely different person. I think you can see the sadness and the weight inside, not just the weight on my body, but the weight that I was carrying that got me to be that size in the first place. Because you don't get fat like that. I've said it time and time again, you don't get fat like that because you're eating too much, or simply because you're eating too much. You get fat like that, that's just a symptom. The cause of it is always emotional, it's always psychological. Not when you're a little bit fat or a little bit overweight and you can lose it, but when you get to past a certain point, you get past that threshold of it being just a normal weight sway, it's all emotional. We've talked about this in the past. So that was the thing that I couldn't get over, was this person was so sad and so different. I'm sure my voice was different as well. I feel much stronger now, but my voice was almost apologetic. I don't know what it was, but I mean, if you get a chance, have a little look back and see. The other thing is that very little eye contact with the camera. I mean, obviously I wasn't used to doing it then. I'm a little bit more used to it now, but I was looking over to the side because I was internalizing everything. I was thinking about things. I wasn't talking. I was internalizing it all. So anyway, she was a completely different person, and I wish I could tell her, don't worry, it is going to be okay, because there's so much hope there, but there's so much, I mean, I don't know if doubt's the word. I don't think I doubted it, but it would have been nice to be able to, where I sat and watched that video today, I would have loved her to be able to sit and watch this video now and just see that, yeah, this is what's going to happen. And actually a friend of mine has started now a couple of weeks ago. She started on Wegovy a couple of weeks ago, and I sent her a video and I said, this is what it will be. You will, if you keep at it, if you're able to stay on it, then there will come a time when that year goes so quickly and you will be fine. And this is what the difference will be remarkable. So with all that said, I just want to have a little bit of a recap on the year and the mechanics of it, really, I suppose, because it's not just a steady thing. It's not just you go on this thing and all of a sudden all your problems are solved and you just lose weight gradually. I mean, there is a lot of that. It makes losing weight very easy. It certainly did for me. It just lifts all the things that all that weight I'm talking about. Half of it you don't even know you've got on you, but it just lifts it because the food noise goes. So if we look at the first sort of 6 months of it, the symptoms I had the side effects I had were few and far between, really. The first week was a little bit more significant. Obviously, your body's getting used to it. I would have the odd day where it was like, I've always described it as car sickness, mild car sickness, varying degrees of car sickness. When you first start, or when I first, this is why I'm going to stop doing when you, because I'm not going to instruct this. I'm going to say this is what happened with me. When I first started, I really did not want food. Everything turned my stomach. For me, it was mostly creamy stuff. Anything creamy, cheese, anything that was vaguely rich, turned my stomach. I couldn't bear the thought of cooking anything. The smells of things cooking, even very basic things like cooking chicken, which really is my only source of protein. Apart from eggs and chicken are really my only source of protein. I don't eat much else. But the smell of chicken cooking, anything that took effort, by the time you got to eat it, even making a salad or anything like that, anything at all, by the time you got to eat it, you just didn't want it anymore. So all I wanted to do was to be able to pick things up really quickly. Of course, that tends to be shit food, but that was all I wanted. I didn't want to have to think about it. I didn't want to have to smell it. So you inevitably eat an awful lot less. I was eating far less than I should have been eating. I certainly wasn't eating enough protein, and I still don't. I bought protein powder, and that lasted a little while, where I would do that every now and again. I'm sorry if you're noticing that going off now. There's somebody power washing, so excuse the sound if you can hear it. So I bought some protein shake, and I did that for a little while. Didn't keep up with that. I think because then it went into winter, and a cold fruit shake was not what I wanted. Meals, anything significant on a plate was just... So basically, I wanted fresh stuff. I wanted stuff that took no effort to make, and even whatever I did, I wanted very little of it. I would get up in the morning, and I would have breakfast. So it would usually be like egg on toast, one egg on one piece of toast, and then I would have my lunch. Whatever meal I was going to have would be lunchtime, and that would be it, really. I didn't really eat very much more, and most of my weight went off in the first 6 months by doing that. There were a few phases where I didn't lose any weight, and that was when I went back to Cardiff for a week or a fortnight. I never put it on, but I tended just not to lose anything for that time, and that was always frustrating. You just think, well, that's a bit. You just want to see it going off all the time. I was always disappointed with how much weight came off every week. I think my average after the initial spurt, my average was about £1.5 to £2 a week, which still meant that I was losing usually about 4 or 5 pounds a month, but it wasn't quick enough. At the time, I remember thinking, it's just not quick enough. Over a period of a year, it's absolutely quick enough. You just want it to be gradual. But the difference being on Wegovy as to not being on Wegovy, dieting without it, is that when you had a week, if you have a week when you don't lose anything, when you're not taking Wegovy, when you're relying on your willpower, that was always a blow too much for me. I've never had much willpower anyway, but the slightest little hiccup, I could maybe if I had a week where I didn't lose anything, I would get disheartened really, really quickly, and then I'd start thinking, well, if I'm not losing anything, I may as well just have something little, and then bit by bit, what you're eating goes up, and you treat yourself to something, and then the depression sits in, and then the treating really helps. The comfort food helps, comes back again, and within no time at all, you're eating normally, or even more, and then within no time at all, you put the weight on. One of the things about Wegovy that is just so wonderful, really, is that you don't depend on your willpower. So when you do, sorry, it's very, very hot here. When you do have those periods when you don't lose as much or any weight at all, you don't feel the need to fall off the wagon. because the actual chemical process is still taking place in your body. You're still, your appetite is still suppressed. You're still not having food noise. So those things, without those things, you just keep going. You just keep going on your diet. And then eventually the week later I've lost 2 pounds or I've lost, and it'll come back and it's absolutely fine. So there was, for anybody watching, those periods when, that you would, as I say, that you would normally have fallen off the wagon, this wonder drug is the thing that gets you past that. And you are able to keep on. I've never dieted for a year. Not without other things, external things affecting it. My weight is, as I say, always been completely reliant on emotions. If I'm happy, I don't have issues with food. And if I don't have issues with food, I don't have issues with weight. Food becomes part, you think of like a normal person. But I haven't had that for decades. That was when I was young. I haven't been happy for decades in my life. I haven't been happy with myself. I haven't been happy with my life. There've been little periods in between where it wasn't so bad. But generally speaking, for the last 25, 30 years, I have been bloody miserable. And that's reflected in my weight. But now I'm a completely different person. I really am. I'm going to do a separate video that talks about the last sort of 3 or 4 months. I should have done it a while ago, but I didn't. I want to talk about the last 3 or 4 months on Wegovy and the decisions that the decisions that I've made regarding dose and what have you. I'm going to do that as a whole separate video because it's going to go into the future then. It's going to take me where I'm going to go for the next year. But what I want to tell you now about where I am in myself after a year is, as I say, I don't recognise that person from before in that video. I am a completely different person. I feel 20 plus years younger. That's how long I've had that weight on me, and it's like that whole, as the weight has been lifted, those years have been lifted. I suddenly realised that I'm actually 58 years old. And I could have said that to you a year ago. So I say in the video, I'm 57 years old. And it felt old. Now I'm saying I'm 58 years old, and it doesn't feel old at all. I'm looking at the future differently. I'm looking at my options differently. Where I want to be in 5 years. I didn't care where I was in 5 years. This was my last resort. I remember going to see my liver consultant and asking about before I actually went on Wegovy, and I remember saying to her, my brother had just died, and the weight had just piled on. And I said to the nurse at the time, I said, I really think I need to go on Wegovy or on the weight loss injections. And she told me at the time that the wait list was 3 years. And I burst into tears. I mean, I was crying every minute anyway, but an emotion that just never left my throat at that time. But it just poured out of me, and I said, well, then you may as well just kill me, because I cannot go on like this. And it wasn't about going on like this with the weight. I don't even know if I knew what I thought. The weight was always just representation of why I felt, as I say. I didn't want to go on. I didn't see the point in anything. I didn't see that I had options. Now it's completely different. And you think, well, how can it make that much difference? It makes so much difference. It is that I'm lighter. I feel that I stand taller. I talk differently. I'm more confident. I feel it, as I say, I keep saying throughout this video, it's not just about the weight you're carrying on your body, it's the weight that you're carrying in your soul. And as the one goes, the other goes, and then the other goes. It's a non-vicious circle. It's the opposite to a vicious circle, if you like. Once you start, and the positive things start coming in, they just keep rolling on. So I wanted just to leave you with that now. that is my first year. I'm starting at a really nice point. It's 14 stone. I'd like to be here in another year and having lost another 2 stone. I don't want to lose much more than that. I don't want to have operations to remove skin and things. I can't afford it. I would love a boob job. I've said that all along. My boobs could really do with it. My chin, really, you know, I can live with it. I can live with all of this because my heart and my soul are better. They're healing, if not healed. So for everybody out there that's thinking of starting it, just give it a go. If you can do it, if you can afford it, if your body can stand it, it's absolutely worth it. I don't know where I would have been today if I hadn't. I really don't. I really don't know where I would have been. I know where I was, and it was not in a good place, and I'd been in that bad place for a long time. But now the world is my oyster, and it can, you know, and it can be for everybody. And it's not the people that I've done this journey with. My friend who started on Manjaro, she's done amazingly well. She started at, I've told you time and time again, she started at exactly the same weight as me. She's shorter than I am. She started the same weight as me, and she's lost. At the last count, she was 12 stone 12. I know she doesn't mind me saying, because I haven't told anybody who she is. So she's lost over a stone more than me, and you can see it on her. And in the same way as you can see it on me, it's not just about the way she looks, it's about the way she holds herself and she thinks about herself. It's amazing. So everybody, like my friend who started a couple of weeks ago, everybody who's starting this journey, good luck to you. Just keep going. It's absolutely worth it. The way it affects you, you can't really foresee. You think you know, but knowing and feeling is two different things. Your life will change. I believe that. Your life will change if you do this. And just good luck to you all. And then going forward for me, as I say, I'm going to do another video now in the next couple of days, looking more closely at the last 3 or 4 months. I've had a few issues arise. Decisions to make more than anything surrounding dose and plateauing and all sorts of things like that. I didn't want to put them on this video. This was something different. This was about my first year and where I am from where I was and where I am now. But that's going to go into the more specifics of the last few months. And then yeah, that's it. So good luck, as I say. I'm going to go to the pool now. It's a lovely day. I know you've got it hot there as well, so I hope you're not struggling too much. And I know not everybody's lucky enough to have a pool to jump into, so I'm sorry about that, rubbing it in a little bit. Thank you very much again for following me, and apologies again for the big gap in between videos, but I'll see you again shortly. I'm also going to put a video on that I made yesterday, which is a before and after. The video I shot the very first day wearing a pair of bathers. I've kept the bathers. It's the only thing I've kept. And I put them on again, and I was floating in them, and it was just such a lovely feeling. So I've done that video, and I'm going to put that up later today. And then in the next couple of days, the video looking towards the future and the near past. Yeah, so good luck with it all, and I shall speak to you soon. Thanks again.